Hi everyone. So today we at church we had the reading about Jesus calming the storm when the disciples were crossing the sea to the other side, and we also have the psalm and the story of Job reflecting how God is in control of everything. God knows when to stop the waves. God is in control of everything. I know today man controls the weather. They have cloud seeding like what they did in Dubai where they flooded the area. But in general, in the old days, God was in control of the weather. What we do, we damage the environment. We put things in plastic. That plastic goes into our bodies. It starts affecting us. Yesterday, normally I have a very light supper, and yesterday I had a tuna sandwich, and this morning I got up and I felt like there were knives cutting into my stomach. It was really something. So I watch what I eat and I adjust accordingly. But when I think about the weather and how things have changed, foods that didn't affect us now affect us very badly. In the old days, they used to put everything into glass bottles because it was more hygienic. It cost more, but people used to collect the bottles. They used to be washed, recycled, and then used again. And now we have all these plastics filling up our environment and everything, and it's causing a problem for us in the way we take care of our earth. But Father talked about how when he goes through hard times, he's like Job. He's like asking, why is this happening to me? And I guess everybody goes through those times in their lives. I think it's a human experience. We all want things to go smoothly. We all want things to be easy for us. For me, it's been from childhood. So I've just I don't even ask God, why is this happening to me anymore? I just go with the flow, and I do my best every day. And when I was taking my New Testament courses, one of the professors I had, or one of the teachers, he wasn't at Regis, he was at one of the other colleges. I think it was Emmanuel College. And we were looking at Jesus and miracle and how Jesus heals the demonics and calms the seas and all his miracles in the Bible, and how the confirmation comes from the Old Testament in the New Testament. So that's something that he taught us to do, is to look at how this is confirmed from the Old Testament to the Psalm to the New Testament. You see how Jesus fulfills the prophecy. And the story about Jesus calming the storm, if you look at the Sea of Galilee, it's not that big. He was telling us this because I've never been to Israel. I would like to go. I would like to go and see it, but I've never been. And he was saying, if you stand on one side of this, you can see to the other side. So when they say there was a big squall and it was filling the boat and people were panicking, he's like, they panicked because really and truly, if even if that boat had sunk, they would have been able to reach the shore. And Jesus was with them, but still they panicked. So he was telling us how we have to keep our faith, because in a way the storms of life, the things that come against us are like that. We have to keep our faith, and we have to know that God is with us and that Jesus will calm the storm. I mean, they created such havoc in Dubai with their cloud seeding. They caused damage. Now they only too happy to fill up that and to clean up that damage. But they caused it, just like they put this great reset into place to hurt all of us, to bring all of us down to the same level, to not have any middle class. They did it intentionally. Now Klaus Schwab has resigned. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And you have all this right-wing growing, fascism is growing in Italy. All these things that they fought against in World War II are now coming back again. So, I mean, for ordinary people like me, it doesn't make sense what they do. When the reporters were all speaking out about it against having this great reset in Australia, telling people that it's rubbish. You can't tell people you'll be happy earning minimum wage, you'll be happy not having anything to leave to your children or your nieces and nephews. It's rubbish that you will be happy to rent and not own. Nobody wanted to listen to those reporters. Just like nobody wanted to listen to the reporters that said they couldn't find the mass graves in Canada of all these children that were supposed to have died. They put out all those shoes and everything, and then after the fact they started looking for all the graves. Yes, there were children that died. Nobody's saying it didn't happen, but then they made it seem worse than it actually was. And so in that passage of the squall coming up, and they were calling it a violent squall, it's like when you try to swim in a pool. If the wind comes up, it's more hard to swim. I go swimming almost every day, and it's harder to swim when that wind comes up. It feels like it's a lot stormier than it is. But he was telling us, his name was Rene, he was telling us that's when we have to keep our faith, and we have to remember how the confirmation came. We have to remember to go back, to read our scriptures, to look at the Old Testament, look at the Psalm, and then look at the New Testament. And you'll always see how Jesus has fulfilled the prophecy. And even if they had died on that boat, Jesus would have still been with them. So that was what I thought about today. But it's the passage from Job today was very beautiful, and the psalm and the gospel reading. So Father's giving us a celebration, a lunch for the volunteers today, for all of us who help in the church, and that's very nice of him. It's very generous of the church to do that, because the church is also going through hard times, and people like me who have been born into poverty, we give what we can when we can. Now I'm unemployed, I'm looking for a job. I don't give money to the church, but when I have money, I give whatever little I can. And the older men at the church, they tell me, don't worry, people will take care of you, they'll help you, they'll give you money. Nobody does that for me. A few people have given me through my that link that I set up. But when you're a spiritual director, that's supposed to be the way it works. It's supposed to be that you get a job and you earn as a lay person, and people are supposed to help you. But that's not the way the reality is today. So it's very different. So I'm still applying for a good paying job, and I hope to get a job that I can afford to buy a place and to live comfortably. Because when I took my master's, I did not take it with the intention of remaining poor and living in poverty. And yes, I don't put my faith in riches, but at the same time, I also need that to live. So maybe to God, what I'm going through seems like a very small cross compared to what other people go through. And I know that. But at the same time, what I'm going through. I don't compare it to other people. And I also pray for God to calm the storms in my life, just like Father did. And Father said, our storms in our life, they seem like big storms to us, but we always know that God is in control.